Hello, everyone. Before we get rolling, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure. Happy Valentine's Day, if you can hear me. We don't really do Valentine's Day at our house. My husband and I will have been together 24 years on Monday. So our anniversary is on the 17th. So it's just kind of this long-standing rule that don't pay extra for the same stuff we're going to buy maybe in 3 days if we're lucky. So that's that. So, yes. Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. If that's up your alley or, celebrated National Singles Awareness Day. Yeah. So, all right. Now, I really enjoyed the Dateline thing. I was concerned to begin with that there was going to be a lot of just repetitive things and things that certain things that people that have followed the case would already be like, we already knew this. But regardless, it was great because it put it on a national scale and really pushed it out there. Because aside from Nate Eaton, who they talked a lot about in the Dateline episode, the other gentleman who I follow, who's on top of this case, his name is Justin Lum out of Phoenix. Aside from those two, media is really not that involved. And I love to watch it. I love the way that media pressuring her as they're trying to walk to the beach just made her so uncomfortable. That makes my day. So, yeah, Mariah, Dateline did a 2-hour episode tonight on Lori and Chad's case and trying to raise awareness to figure out what has happened to JJ and Tylee. Yeah, here. I'm sure within a hot minute it'll pop up on YouTube. But yes, they did it. They did a really good job. I really liked. I liked how they kind of drug some people out of the past, out of their past, and even not so much. I'm not talking like past, like, oh, I knew them 20 years ago when they were normal. Like within the last couple of years, like what was her friend's name, April, and she was really talking how she could see things. And I was hoping they'd go into a little bit more about Chad because nobody's talking about Chad, and that bothers me because I don't think he is just like this innocent victim of her craziness. I think Lori looks at Chad as like the spiritual advisor, and he looks at her as like a minion and whatever sort of weird relationship they've got going on. Oh, I agree. She should be uncomfortable. She should be so uncomfortable she can't even stand to look in the mirror. But, she's probably not upset by the attention by no stretch of the imagination. She just, doesn't think that she owes anybody an answer for anything. That's my opinion. Yeah, I did see how they were talking about wanting to go to Mexico. Now, whether or not that was a ruse to just try to get people to leave them alone, or if that was in fact the case. But at the end, it did talk about in Dateline, they were talking about Mexico, and they were talking about when they were following them, the day Dateline caught up with them and was, doing exactly what Nate Eaton did. They said that was filmed on the 28th of January. So as soon as, she was served with that court order, and then were they just saying they were going to Mexico to try to get people to leave them alone? Or were they in fact really wanting to go? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm shocked that they're still in Kauai. It's not like they're in like this huge city where they can get lost. They're on a small island where, now it's like the Cheers setting. Everybody knows your name. You're not getting out of this. They're not just going to leave you alone. Yes, I'm not very familiar with the Mormon Church and LDS. I mean, I know enough to feel comfortable saying certain things. But knowing how, like you're saying there, Laura Al, if I'm saying that incorrectly, I do apologize. They have large communities in northern Mexico. I have heard that, and I'm shocked. Not shocked, but or maybe I'm naive to the whole religion in a sense, to where the large communities that they have pretty much everywhere. And the temple that was built in Rexburg, Idaho looks, I mean, if it's not the same building, they must do cookie cutter things that they build these days, because we had one built here where I live, and it looks exactly the same as their church in Idaho. It's, I don't know, interesting to me. Yeah, Jess, the fact that we've not heard from Chad's kids, really, it shocks me, but it doesn't. All 5 of his kids are grown. They actually some of them have kids of their own. Like Chad's a grandpa, you know. But in some of Chad's writings, he uses his children as characters in his books. So whatever storyline he's got created in his head of how things are going to go moving forward towards the end of times, his children play a role in that. So I don't know. Hello, Seaman Shoes. I have no idea. I don't know. Jess, what did you see in the episode that made you want to, did you see anything that flipped your skirt? Chad he does look different in Hawaii. And I don't know if like he finally got some sun, like vitamin D did a body good or what, but he's carrying himself differently. And I don't know if it's the honeymoon period, because clearly it's not mourning. Lord knows he's not mourning the life that he just lost with his wife, Tammy, of almost 30 years. No, gosh forbid he does that. But yeah, he lost weight because they don't have a car now. They got to walk everywhere. Nah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be an ass, but he does. He looks tall. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's confidence, the sun, the honeymoon phase. I'm not really sure. I don't know. There was a, let me find his, there was a Dateline producer who was like live tweeting and answering a bunch of people's questions. And let me find his, give me 1 second. I'm going to put his profile in the chat here so that you guys can go back and see, because clearly people were, God bless America. People were asking questions, of course, as the show went on. So let me get his, I want to put his profile in here so you guys can go back and see, because as the show went along, there's so many questions, of course. Hold on. Where the hell did it go? There it is. Some of the fine details of parts of their story, because clearly they could go on for weeks just talking about what we know now. So they were answering people's questions. So there's his as they went along, and he was really getting, doing some fine-tuned answering, and I was pretty excited to learn quite a few things and have some things clarified. Yes, Chad's kids are adults. From what I understand, they are living in that property that we did see that was searched after Tammy's body was exhumed. From what I understand, some of them do live at that home. Yeah, Jess, I don't understand what his kids think, or if he's got his kids, you know, in the belief system of what, if he believes it, because in my opinion, he thinks of us as himself as some sort of prophet. So is, if it was, you know, the plan, you know, for mom to have, you know, what is it? Her mortality expired or some weird statement he made, to where if that's what the plan was, then now the plan is to bring Lori in. And his kids are just like, oh, okay, you know, like they don't, I feel like Chad has made it very clear in some of, you know, the pieces of his writing that I looked at, that death is not really a big deal in a sense, to where it's just like, oh, it happens, you know. I don't, so I feel like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this without really sounding crazy. But yeah, and that's just it. His kids are just totally, whatever dad says goes, basically. You know, if dad says this is, you know, this is what his angels are telling him, then that's just the way it has to be. And so everybody just smiles and nods. And maybe in their little circle or brand of crazy, that's acceptable. But for the rest of the world, it's like, what the hell, you know? Yes, Lori's parents are still alive. We have not, we have not heard much from her family at all. And I'm not real sure as to why that could be, whether it is that she, throughout over the course of time, has just totally alienated herself from them, even prior to her drastic change of behavior. But nobody's really coming out and saying anything, you know, one way or the other in regards to her as far as her side of the family goes. I agree, cement shoes, they can keep it. Let's see. Ooh, Mufaro, I'm so glad you said that. Okay, so the question is, if the kids are dead, who do you think initially came up with the idea to kill them, Chad or Lori? Okay, I've been going back and forth with this, because what I've been thinking, if I go, I flip-flop, obviously, because there's so much going on with this case, but if we assume that Chad is, you know, the prophet, he's the one barking the orders, and Lori's just the minion. Who made the decision ultimately that Charles had to go? Was that Lori or Chad, or was like a combined thing? Or did they come up to some sort of like jacked up pact that said, I'll get rid of my spouse and you get rid of yours, and we'll fly off into the sunset? So if we start what Mufaro is talking about, going back to Chad or Lori, I mean, somebody pulled the trigger, and clearly Chad wasn't in the house, but you don't necessarily have to pull the trigger to be involved. And then if we move on to the kids disappearing, whose decision was that, Chad or Lori's? Because by the time the children weren't missing, Lori was very well aware she wasn't getting a damn dime from the death of Charles. So all of that seemed to have been in vain, if you look at it that way. And then how do we get to the point right after the children go missing? And that's when the attempt on Tammy's life took place. And then ultimately Tammy passed away. So how I would, trying to piece together whose idea this really was. Like, did Chad get a vision? Did his angels knock on his veil one night and be like, hey dude, we've got this plan coming together, you know, get the troops together, we got things going down? Or I wouldn't even know how to even try to distinguish Chad or Lori, because realistically, I think it's a combination. I think that somehow, I mean, long before Lori entered his life, Chad has figured himself to be some sort of prophet with these great skills and whatever. And then Lori came along, and then quickly she decided she had the same set of, abilities. And then together they are just off their damn rocker. So, and I've been thinking about this a lot too. I don't know how many people are familiar with Scientology and the beginnings of Scientology. Of course, we all know Tom Cruise jumping on a couch, and he's a wackadoo as well. But L. Ron Hubbard, who is the founder of Scientology, was actually a fiction writer, like a science fiction, a sci-fi writer, prior to actually creating this full-on religion, if you will, of Scientology. So I'm kind of thinking that Chad's going down that same path, and it doesn't look good. And I think that his fiction writing he's turned it, for himself, and clearly Lori has, and God only knows how many other people have turned it into like an actual firm way of thinking, not just, this fictional story with these great characters. No, this is like they're taking it word for word. This is what it is. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yes, VB girl, I do believe they are enabling each other, because they're stroking each other's ego, where, oh my gosh, my angel said this. Oh my gosh, that's what I heard too. Okay. Okay, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Scientology, basically, there is this, it is crazy. There is this alien being named Xenu. He is like the Billy Badass of them all, and he's the one who's gonna like save the earth or ruin it or whatever. I don't get it. So yeah, so Scientology is based all around these aliens coming and taking over your body, or just go with that. Yeah, Lori is the dominant one. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I also think that the quiet ones are also the scarier ones, meaning Chad. So, yeah, I don't even, Scientology just makes my head hurt just thinking about it. Yeah, you don't know until you reach those high levels and you fork over God knows how much money. And that's another thing, money, with Chad and Lori. So just over a year ago at this time, Lori took $35,000 out of Charles's business account and, ended up back in Hawaii doing whatever. So there's $35,000 there. She had $75,000 from the death of Joe Ryan, her third husband. And where did all that money go? And where are they still now continuing to get money? Because I'm pretty sure, the website for the publishing company is down. And I'm sure that once Tammy passed, that business just failed to exist, because he was done with the whole thing anyway. Let's be real. So I'm wondering, where is their money coming from now? How are they still continuing to generate income? Are people paying him for his, spiritual abilities? I'm not really sure. I just curious. I've heard him talk. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can. Where was it? Give me a second here. I can find us a video, I think. I watch so much stuff on them. Where was it? Give me 1 second, and I'm going to see if I can find a picture. What is it? A video of Chad. Oh my gosh. Nah, I don't know. Maybe it is drugs, Jess. That would maybe explain some of their wackadoo behavior. I mean, at least then I could have like, I'd be like, oh, I feel you, but just to think like this, not under the influence is just scary. Let's see. Let's see if I can find us this. I saw it. Oh my gosh. No, that's Lori. Damn it. All right, I will find it. Let me think about it for a second and we'll come back to that. So, I don't know. Hi, Awen. I hope you're feeling better. I agree, VB girl. And I get that law enforcement, everybody has to do their deal, and they're not obligated to come out and give the public any sort of update at all. They're not obligated to do that. But maybe not every day, but maybe at least like once a week, just release a statement, release something. Okay, yes, we are continuing to work on the, investigation, blah, blah, blah. Give it, even if it's a blanket, the vaguest statement ever, at least communicate with the public, because by them not communicating, all that seems to signal is they're not doing a damn thing, in my opinion. Now, I don't think that's the case, but that's the impression that you get, and it's just frustrating. So I wish they would come forward and just say, okay, I don't know. And like I've said in my previous videos about this case, and that's why I find it so important to make so many people aware and make noises to put pressure not only on Lori about her children, but also on law enforcement to be able to, make them engage with the community and let us know that, hey, something is, we are still working on this. This is not just a cold case. We're not doing anything. We're doing something. So, and that makes me really excited for Dateline, because there's not much more, there's not a larger stage that they could have put this story on to gain national attention. So now that's going to start putting pressure on them. And maybe that'll be the kick in the ass that we need for law enforcement to have to come forward, at least give us something. I'm not saying, I don't need to know everything you did in the last month, but to at least be, reassured that, hey, yeah, we are still working on this, sit tight, just trust us. We've got things happening. That's it. Just say something. Let's see. The only person that I have seen speak on the relationship between Lori and Tylee is Joe's brother, Annie. And she said that the last time that she saw Lori and Tylee, that it wasn't good. And that was right after Tylee's dad passed away. So of course Tylee's not going to be, her best self anyway, but she said it was very uncomfortable, and not just the kind of uncomfortable from, somebody being in mourning or grieving. So I can't imagine, from what I understand, Tylee is not a dumb young woman, and she seems to be pretty, she's clearly old enough. She's a young woman. She knows exactly what's going on in her surroundings. So I'm sure that if she had any sort of disagreement with what her mother was up to, I'm sure that did not go over well. And then now there's reports coming, friends of Tylee's, like their parents or certain people are saying that Tylee really wasn't, there became a time where Tylee wasn't allowed to be like alone with anybody, because it seemed that Lori feared that she would say something about anything, and Lori basically wanted to monitor, have full control over everything she said and did. So Hmm. Oh, Wanda Lee, you live in Hawaii? High five to you. I live in St. Louis, and this morning when I woke up, it was a whopping 4 degrees. So, yes. Oh. Mm-hmm. So, Wanda Lee, have you seen them walking around the island? That's very interesting. Now I have questions. Oh. Oh my goodness. Hold up. I will be. Okay. Whew, sorry. Let's see. The body cam footage when the cop asked her weight. Yeah, she asked her weight, and she's like, "Oh, what?" I'm like, you're gonna get all like weirded out about it. Like, that should be the least of your concern, because the way I see it, you just lost 240 pounds for absolutely no damn good reason. So, that woman just makes my skin crawl. Oh, that's amazing. I actually had somebody email me a couple weeks ago. I think the first video I ever did about this case was the beginning of like the first week of January or so. And I had somebody email me not long after that from New Zealand that it was on the news in New Zealand. And then there's people who live, like these people in the condos next door to them in Hawaii had no idea who they were. So as much as the media gets on people's nerves, on times like this when there's actually missing people and a handful of deaths, a couple attempted murders, we need to know who these people are. And I don't get it. So yeah, I think it's amazing that it's picking up steam everywhere, because gosh only knows, she could end up in England next week. She could be on a flight there now. Because if they thought they were going to Mexico, they didn't take her passport. So I guess she has the ability to do so. I don't know. Crazy talk. Just crazy talk. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that Stephanie, I think I saw Stephanie did, I thought I watched her do was that Coffee and Crime Time about this. I think it was the same day, right after what's her face? After Michelle got out of prison. I think it was that episode. But I think I saw where she had done a couple of episodes on this. I love Stephanie. Her she's the best. She is the best. Yes, Jess. If I had to guess, I would imagine that I would say because of his connections in town, people he knew, and his reputation that he at one time had, that there's a lot of hush-hush because you don't want to falsely accuse anybody of anything. Obviously, of course not. But there comes a point where it's like, okay, like we can't, I don't give a shit who you are, what you've done in your, in your life up to this point. Right now, you've got yourself knee deep in some shady stuff. And all the rest of that shouldn't matter. But I do think that I do think that there's people willing to, try to keep things on the down low. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, my gosh. The timeline, I'm a weirdo. So we have all this awesome technology and all of whatever, but I still love me a good old pen and paper and all my whatever. So this notebook is almost full, and this one specifically is just for Chad and Lori. Oh my gosh. Oh, Sorry, I had to take a allergy pill earlier. It clearly has worn off. I apologize. I'm gonna have to run upstairs in a minute and grab another one. So I've started my second one. When I like putting together like what I just did, that last timeline that I uploaded earlier this week, that the amount of notes it takes to go into something like that, and I just like, and I love to write everything down, and I want to make sure I've got it all. So yes, pen and paper. It's crazy. Let's see. I don't know. All right. So other than Lori and Chad, who do I? Alex. If something nefarious happened to those children, it was Alex. Lori will not get her hands dirty. Let's just be clear here. And Alex is no longer with us. And I feel like Alex had to go more so because if something, and I hate to let my mind go this way, because it does make sense to me that those kids could be in hiding somewhere underground. She just washed her hands of them and just went on about her merry way. But they went missing way back when Alex was still alive and kicking, and he is obviously, you know, for lack of a better term, her hitman. And I feel like if something happened to those kids, it was Alex. He would be the only other person who would know. I don't think anybody else does. So that's just my 2 cents. I think I do believe JSG, I do agree. My gut tells me that she is so arrogant and doesn't give a shit about the law or the media, because in her wackadoo brain, she's not doing anything wrong, because whoever these chosen people are and whoever, you know, Chad's followers are now, or her followers, or however you want to word it, it's not uncommon for them not to be without their children, because, I mean, let's be honest, she's got a lot on her plate. I mean, she has got to prepare these people for the end of the world, and how dare her children try to get in the way of that. So in her mind, I feel like it wouldn't be, if other people in her, you know, group or community or whatever, cult, for if we're just going to go there, are okay with letting their children, you know, go to wherever they are, then she's not doing anything wrong. And clearly she thinks she's above, you know, the law and God and everybody now. So the law of the land does not apply to this woman. That's kind of what I think. Now, see, that their lawyer isn't a defense lawyer. He's a divorce lawyer. Melanie, Lori's niece, who just got remarried to the guy Ian, Sean, the lawyer, was Ian's divorce lawyer. True story. I'll show you. And I imagine that they don't have a lot of clearly they don't have a lot of crime going on up there. And let's see. Hold on. Let me find. I have his profile here. We will take a peek at this guy. And he's way over his head. Way over his head with this mess. Let's see. It says here, let's pull it up. Oh, let's hit the right button and that'll help us, right? Okay, all right, let's go over and get us this one and we will look at this guy. Yes, it says that he does okay. All right. So it says Sean handles the criminal defense for the firm and has been involved with both high-profile cases as well as helping everyday people who find themselves accused of a crime. Sean is an experienced trial lawyer and served as the primary public defender for Jefferson County from 2014 through 16. Spent hundreds of hours in the courtroom on behalf of clients. Okay, this is the best part right here. Sean believes that the heart of any family dispute is the best, oh my gosh, is the best interest of the children. He encourages clients to focus on how best to achieve their goals while never losing sight of the long-term effects of divorce on children. So it doesn't really have to be divorce, but he doesn't get to sit here and preach about how we need to focus on how things affect children and then want to go to bat for this crazy broad. Mm-hmm. Where Melanie is now, I don't know. I would love to know. I'm sure actually she has another court date with Brandon. Is it a March? Either later this month or the first part of March with Brandon as far as custody or visitation or whatever. So I don't know, who the hell knows? She could be over there, but I don't think so. Yeah, I would love for them to talk to that, but she's in trouble. Jess, as far as Hawaii, now, when she and Charles, right after they adopted JJ, they moved to Hawaii for a few years. Apparently that was something they both kind of wanted to do kind of all their life, and they had the means and the opportunity, so they did that. And ever since then, she's always been in love with it. And everybody kind of knew, anybody that knew her, even way back when this case was first breaking and they couldn't find them, even Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandma, speculated, about Hawaii because that was someplace she absolutely loved. So, who knows? Why still there? I don't know. I know that her and Charles did have some business dealings there. They actually owned property. So, yeah, macadamia nuts with Roseanne Barr. Listening to a little Don Ho. Oh, that crazy woman. I can't even tell you. Okay. No, let's hope Melanie does not have the children. Melanie's children and her husband, or her now ex-husband, are living in hiding because somebody tried to shoot and kill Brandon, and then Melanie was arrested twice in a week for trespassing on Brandon's parents' property, trying to get hold of her children. And when she was the second time she was there, she brought Alex with her, of all people, and he's the one who had to bail her out of jail. So Alex is not the person you just kind of bring with you just for, an evening ride. No, I have a feeling that, because Brandon was shot at on October 2nd in Arizona. Now she was trespassing in Utah. So I have a feeling that she brought Alex along to maybe try to provoke Brandon and to do something crazy so Alex could do the same thing he did to Charles and then claim self-defense. Just my opinion. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's up with Alex. I think Alex, Alex was a puppet, clearly. I mean, he would just do anything. Well, he was Lori's puppet, let's be clear. He would do anything that she told him to for whatever reason. I don't know. And yeah, what's up with Alex's wife? I don't know. But during the Dateline live tweeting tonight, the one producer said that she is, what the hell did he call her? hold on. I want to make sure I word this right because woo-wee. Let's see. Let's see. What did he call her? Yes. Are you ready for this? This is a good one. Alex's wife, Zulema, advertises herself on a website as a cuddling professional and a touch expert. Let that soak in. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to have to go grab a tissue and another allergy pill. So give me like 2 minutes and I will be right back. Oh, God bless America. Okay. Yes, you heard that right. So here, let me pull up I'll actually show you the tweet here. Hold on 1 second. And then, unbelievable. There he is. Okay, let's I'm going to show you this tweet because can't make this up. Oh, no. Give me 1 second. Oh, what the hell? All right. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so it says that Alex's wife, Zulema, advertises herself on a website as a cuddling professional and a touch expert. I don't, yeah, somebody said that whole sentence is a lot to digest. You're damn right. I was hoping somebody posted the link. We're going to have to find that. Let's see. So, stop screen. So Rexburg police does not seem interested in if I'm trying to be extremely nice here, I think that this is so over their heads. Like they're just totally lost. They wouldn't even, investigators with a ton of experience, wouldn't even know what to do here. So, oh God bless. What is going on? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure something looks like it's going wonky on me. Yep. Okay, cool. Sorry. What was I going to say? Perfect. Sorry. And that's just it, JSG. They need evidence of a crime. And right now, the only crime is that they've been assholes. I mean, I hate to be, it's unfortunate, but there's really nothing. There's tons of suspicion and tons of, circumstantial evidence, but you don't want to, I wouldn't want to see them jump the gun on any of these, especially any, let's just use on Tammy's death, jump the gun and then press charges, and then the evidence doesn't come together and the case falls apart, and then that's that. We don't want that to happen. So I would much rather them see them be thorough. And yes, Jess, the FBI is involved. So they've been involved since December. Exactly. They can only take one shot. So I don't know. I would love to see justice for Charles. I would love to see justice for Tammy, justice for Brandon, and maybe even justice for Alex. That's a whole nother thing. But most importantly, I would really like to find JJ and Tylee. I would really like them to be returned to people who would love to make sure they're happy and safe and sound and healthy and just thriving young people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alex, I mean, Arizona authorities really dropped the ball when it came to Charles' shooting. No doubt about it. It was pretty clear. And I don't know if you guys have read, you can watch Alex on the body cam footage and his statements. His written statement has not yet been made public, but Tylee and Lori's have. And between the body cam footage, Tylee's statement, and Lori's statement, none of them match. And I do not fault Tylee for that at all. Because if I'm being honest, Tylee's probably repeating the story correctly as it was told to her. It's probably Alex and Lori who were a bunch of dumbasses and forgot the story they made up. So that's my opinion. Yeah, they missed a ton of red flags. One, the stories don't match up. And a little digging could have, Alex did say, "Oh, I was arrested for assaulting my my sister's ex-husband." But that was in 2007. It was 12 years ago. I'm way better now, or I'm way crazier now, however you want to look at it. But you take all that into consideration. If they could have, I don't know. I just feel like wrapping it up and calling it a day just an hour or two after the man was shot and killed in her home, that wasn't very smart. Regardless of all these other things, that's not the way to handle something. I'm sorry. It's just not. They could still. Okay, so contempt of court is basically just, like I've said before, bitch slapping the judge and being like, yeah, screw it. I'm not doing that. It's like stomping your feet and throwing a fit. So it's really up to the judge and the court now to decide, are they going to charge her with that? I mean, Chad's name's not on that. That would have nothing to do with Chad. That would only, give them the opportunity to at least temporarily detain her. Now, it's also not typically something that it's not typically an extraditable offense, but given the extenuating circumstances here, it's of course that's on the table. In order for the extradition for that to be signed, it has to go through the governor's office. And from my understanding, even as early as as recently as middle of this week, none of that's reached the governor's desk. So that really doesn't look like anything they're pursuing at this time. But on the other hand, if they want to just put her in custody they want to detain her for the contempt. Okay, what's she going to do? Immediately she's going to ask for a lawyer. Well, she's got one. She's not going to talk. No matter what they do to her, she won't talk. So, and that's her legal right, is not to talk, but it's going to be kind of a fruitless effort to try to go through all the legal hoops to get her there just on contempt. And now I've seen some, legal experts, some say that, she can be charged $5,000 and, whatever, basically it's just a slap on the wrist and walk away. And other legal experts go to the total other extreme and say that they could hold her indefinitely until she provides the information that they're wanting that was required in that court order. So who really knows? Oh, yes. Oh, me too, VB girl. I would love to just be a fly on the wall. I would just love to know what's going on. Just a little nugget of something that's going on. And one thing I do want to say, we haven't seen a lot of Kay and Larry Woodcock now, since the January 30th press conference that Kay did. They've now been advised to speak only through their lawyer and make very concise, short statements. And that I think is really smart of them. Since they've filed they have now filed as of January 31st, they filed for custody of JJ. Now, I've seen people kind of say, oh, well, that's a waste of time. We know something, we know those kids aren't coming back. No, we really don't know that. And even though that's a strong possibility, the other possibility is that they will come back. And it needs to be a cold day in hell before they go back into the care of Lori, no matter what. So they're doing that to where if and when these children are found, that JJ will go with them, and we'll be moving right along. They're not able to do that for Tylee. One, they're not biologically, they're not related to her. And at Kay's own admission, they don't have a close relationship with Tylee. So there are people like Joe's sister Ann, or even her brother Colby, who have expressed interest in making sure that she would not be put back into any situation like she's been put through in recent times. So. No, I don't think anybody would speak out about where this compound would be, because then that would, uncover anything else nefarious that might be going on around those parts. So, usually they start arresting people and work everyone against each other till one flips. I think the best chance they had at somebody flipping would have been Alex, if I'm being honest. And I think that was taken off the table. No, Colby did not appear on the special. Let me get you guys a link to his channel. Oh my God, my poor nose. Yeah, Jess, Colby's last video where he was talking to Charles, that one was rough. Oh my gosh, I really hope, I never really considered that maybe they made Tylee do it. But I don't think, I don't know. No, JJ was not questioned, and Lori did address that in her statement about how JJ wouldn't, how did she word it? Here, let's see if I can find it real quick. JJ wouldn't be able to, according to her, JJ would not be able to understand what was going on and all this. But according to everybody else, he's pretty high functioning and had a pretty good head on his shoulders. So let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, I think Tylee was definitely coached, if not threatened, about what happened with Charles. I don't know. Find that in a second. JJ would have been out in the car. JJ would have been in the driveway when the shooting happened, John. Tylee and JJ were both there. Now see, okay, here. Tylee talks about, hold on. Tylee said that her mom made her go back in to get her wallet. So she said she saw Charles on the ground. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so here it is. So all right, give me 1 second. I'll show you guys what Tylee said here. Oh, if I hit the right button, it might help. Yeah, we can read Tylee's whole statement if you Here, we'll read Tylee's statement and then we'll read Lori's statement. So give me 1 second. Let's see. Actually. Wait 1 second to pull up the right one here. Get them in order. Let's see. That's crazy bitch. Okay, so okay, well, I'm trying to put them in order here so we make sure we get. All right. Okay, sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. I appreciate your patience. We are going to figure this out. Yeah. Specialized in touch. Now that's a new one. All right, so we'll start with Miss Tylee here because, like I said, I don't think she is. Oh my gosh, sorry. Huh. All right, so okay, we are going to do this. Let's see, application window right here. Okay, so now see, according to, okay, so on the morning that Charles was shot, according to Alex, Lori went ahead and took Jay to school. Tylee went along for the ride, and Charles just hung out with him. They were just gonna hang out. Yeah, no bullshit. According to Lori, she heard the shot once she was already in the driveway with the kids, and they took off. Now, according to Tylee, they were still there when all of this went down. So let's read Tylee's statement here real quick. Let's see. So she goes on. She says, I asked if she knew what happened inside the house and if her mom had explained it to her. Tylee said she heard a noise and that she knows what it was now, but thought it was someone taking the bat and hitting it really hard against the floor. I returned to when she talked about putting the bat out when her stepdad was coming at her mom and asked her to describe what was going on. I asked if there was a reason she put the bat up. She stated yes, that he was walking towards her mom and she didn't want him to do anything, so she just stuck out the bat. Tylee described being more next to her mom and not between them. She said she stuck it out as like, keep your distance, kind of. I indicated that she said she didn't want him to do anything and asked what she thought he was going to do. And he said, hit her. Tylee said for the most part it had been very mundane, but there had been very few violent times that she's been scared that he would hit her mom or her. Tylee said her and him have always kind of never got along since she was little. Tylee said there have been a few times when they've gotten into fights and she's been scared of that. I asked about when he grabbed the bat and asked her to tell me about that again. She said she kind of stuck it out, motioning with a two-handed hold. Tylee stated he said she would go to jail if he hit him with it, and Tylee really didn't say anything. Tylee said she's holding it by the place where you hold it and kind of took it. Tylee gets lunged forward and lost her footing. Tylee said her mom said, just let go. And Tylee said she kind of slipped and fell kind of on her side. And after that, her mom told her to go. So she ran out the door. I asked Tylee if she saw when she fell towards her side, did she see what he did with the bat? Tylee said no, that she really wasn't looking that direction because when she fell, the door was more in her line of direction. Tylee said she didn't look back, and I confirmed her stepdad was now in a different line of sight than she was looking at. I asked about when she saw him take a step back, and I asked that she really didn't see her uncle pull him back, but it seems like that's what happened. Tylee agreed and stated that it didn't seem like he would have had step back on his own, and Tylee confirmed it made sense as to where uncle was at the time. Uncle was behind him and not on the other side with Tylee and her mom. I asked about when that happened, and then her mom told her to go. Did she see what happened with her stepdad and uncle? She stated no. I asked if after Lori came outside with her and her brother, that she ever went back inside. So this is where Tylee says she did, in fact, go back inside. Hold on. Make sure I have the right one up for you guys, because this is where she says she had to go back in. And sorry, give me 1 second. What in the hell? There we go. She went back inside to get her mom's purse so they would have her wallet. So Lori, instead of going, if this is in fact the truth, going inside to get her own shit, knowing that things are crazy in there, she sends her daughter in. There's another chalk on the belt of Mom of the Year. Tylee said she went through the garage door and went in and ran to her mom's closet, and she didn't see anything or hear anything. I asked when she went inside and got her mom's purse. Tylee advised after Lori came out, and I confirmed it was after she heard the loud noise, which Tylee confirmed. I asked if her mom was outside or inside when she heard the loud noise. Tylee thought for a moment, and she stated she believed her mom was inside, but the door opened almost immediately after. So, I mean, and it just goes on. And then, of course, Lori is like, oh my gosh, we flew the scene. It was so scary. But my hair's not messed up. You know, think about it. If there is this huge, blowout, because according to Lori, Alex and Charles are tussling on the ground, right? Okay, so they're having this, knockdown, drag out, whatever. Now, mind you, there's not a lot of furniture in that place. They'd only been there a couple weeks, she said. So, but there's Alex's clothes aren't all jacked up. He doesn't look like he's been in this big knockdown, drag out fight. There's mirrors all over the place. Nothing really looks to have nothing looks, the whole thing is, they're all full of shit. And I don't mean to talk bad about Tylee at all. I know that she was, from the time they dropped JJ off at school until the time they got back to the house, which I'm sure was not a very long drive, she was probably threatened and coached. And it's horrible what she had to go through. Yeah, to a certain extent, Phoebe. But if we isolate this incident, if all the witnesses, nobody's statement matches, that's a problem. Especially when somebody is deceased. It's not like there was a big fight and nobody can get their story straight. No, somebody is deceased now. So I just feel like regardless, yeah, they admitted that everybody acted weird. The stories didn't match, but I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I have a, oh yeah, it wouldn't be hard to tell her, yeah, if you don't say this was going to happen. Oh yeah, she was. And that's what I'm saying. Of all of their versions, I would guess that Tylee's version is going to be the closest to the version that everybody was supposed to tell. Now, whether or not it was the truth, oh my gosh, Julie Rowe, get out of town, that woman. What the truth actually is, I doubt we'll ever know. Unless, of course, when Tylee is recovered and she can talk and go ahead and spill the beans, that's her only shot. I mean, law enforcement has made it clear, Arizona authorities have made it clear they would love to talk to Tylee again and get, follow up on the whole thing. So that'd be great. Yeah, 6th Street, Austin Entertainment. That Julie Rowe, man. That woman is something else. Oh yeah, John, they absolutely set him up. They lured him there. They had a plan. It was no accident, but there was nothing about that morning that was an accident. Not one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the police dropped the ball on that one. And if that could have been properly investigated to, at least dig a little deeper and make some noise at all. I mean, Dateline is now confirming that the pool party that's been kind of rumored, Dateline says that it did in fact happen. So now they didn't really say what they're basing that, how they're confirming that. But if Dateline is saying it, I don't feel like they're in the habit of just saying shit to say shit. So there's no reason how someone can die at that property and by the afternoon they're back at the house just kicking it. You know what I mean? They clearly, the turnaround, it was basically, I've seen people spend longer times at the scene of a car accident, for Christ's sakes. It's just frustrating. Yeah. The veil stuff. Yes, Alex said, okay, Alex, oh my God. So Alex on the body cam footage said that he spent the night because they had plans that day. They were all going to go do something fun. Now, Lori in her statement talked about she called Alex to come over and stay with her because she was so terrified of Charles. And she really, really needed somebody there to support her and make sure that she and the kids were safe. So, whatever. Oh, absolutely. Do I really think they're alive? It's the odds really aren't in the favor of that being true, and that's unfortunate. But until we have firm, concrete, yes, they're no longer with us, I can't commit to that. It's likely the scenario that we're looking at, but it's not. I guess I keep trying to come up with other situations and other ways that they could still be around. And the only thing that I can say is what I talked about earlier is how some of these, end of days prepper people will kind of hide away things and people and do strange things. And any sort of cult in general, it's not uncommon for any cult to be separated, the adults to be separated from the kids, and the kids be put in horrible, shitty situations. So I don't know. That's that. Yes, Jess. So Charles was Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, there was a pool party at the home. And then on Friday evening around 4:30 is when she texted Charles's son in Texas to notify him. So over a full day had passed. That's exactly it, JSG. That Melanie was there to take her children. She wanted her children. She needed like the protection from the whatever. I don't know. So let's see. Okay, so VB girl, I do believe they have to have other people. They have people that are supporting them. There is the Avow organization where there is one of the main people in that who is really who apparently Oh. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. Okay. We are going to stop this one and restart. Oh, can you hear me now? Are we back? Phew. I don't know what was going on there. I was having a big old fat argument with this. Okay. Phew. That was a mess. Okay. Well, I appreciate your patience there. All right. I restarted a bunch of stuff because I thought, okay, it got mad about something. So I apologize. Sorry about that. So let's see. Let's see something real quick. Thank you, VB girl, because I was just thinking to myself, okay, what was I saying before everything went crazy on us? About how many people? I have no idea. I do know that they have people that are actually supporting them and saying that the media is just out to get them and they're just victims of whatever. And they do have other, Lori would not be the only person that has, fallen for all this cockamamie crap that Chad has been selling in his books. And she's not going to be the only person that has taken, those works of fiction and turned, decided that they were, a way of life. So now a firm number, I don't know. I would love to know. And that's another thing, like we talked about before, where their money is coming from. That is something I would definitely know. The Ripe Ruin, we've kind of been all over the map. We've talked a little bit about everything. If there's something specific you want to talk about, I'm going to comment on, have questions about, it's pretty much an open floor. Now, I don't know how organized they are either. But organized enough, I guess. I don't know. He would have died in the early 90s. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what went on there with her second husband. They were pretty young when he passed away. Yep. Yes. And you should be able to watch that on their website. Here is this. It was actually really good. My notes from that now. Okay, let's see. There we go. Looking at I'm going to end up watching this Dateline episode a few times myself because I was scribbling notes and I knew I was going to come down here and hang out with you guys for a little bit because I knew I had stuff to say about this. So I was making notes and thinking about it and then trying to piece together certain things that I learned to all the other things I already knew about this case. So I was like, I don't know, weird. But Lori's friend, April Raymond, that she met in Hawaii when her and Charles and the kids moved there in like 2014 or 2015, she had a lot of interesting stuff to say. April said that Alex basically did tell her that, yeah, that he did in fact try to kill Joe Ryan, that Alex just came out and told her that. I was like, whoa, okay. How do you just bring that up over dinner? I don't know. And she is one, she also can confirm that during that, because when Lori went missing around this time last year, when Charles ended up filing for divorce and he was getting those weird phone calls from her, there was a lot of speculation for a long time as this case was, information was coming out. People didn't know where she was, people weren't aware where she was with Tylee at the time. And people are saying, oh, she was in Hawaii. And other people are saying, no, she was stalking Chad in Idaho, which could have been a real possibility. But her friend April said that she was in fact in Hawaii, that she called her up out of the blue and says, oh, I'm back on the island. We're getting divorced because Charles is now abusive. He's cheating on me. And all of these, she's alleging all of these crazy things to April, who is like, whoa, wait a second. And then, at some point during Lori's stay there, she starts talking to April about Chad Daybell and his writings and, how now all of a sudden that Lori believes that she is one of, the chosen 144,000 people going to make it to the, the next stage of the universe or whatever. And Lori proceeds to tell April that she is a chosen one. And April was like, ooh, I'm good, girl. I'm busy that day, but thanks. Lori, April said that was just really odd. So apparently, Lori became so comfortable in her skin, and that was in February. So a year ago at this time, Lori was pretty confident in what she was talking about and doing. And from everything that we knew, even up till tonight, and from my understanding, the first time that Lori and Chad met was in December. But from what they talked about in Dateline tonight, they met actually in the fall, actually met in Arizona. That Chad had traveled down there to do something with the church, or, you know, with the actual church or his brand of church. I'm not really sure, but that's when they ended up meeting. So fairly quickly, if that was fall, which is a couple months, now Lori's, you know, promoted herself to some sort of God, and now she's able to decide who's chosen and who's not. So I don't know. Oh, Carlene, I hate to put you on the spot, but would you want to come on and break down exactly all of this? Because I wouldn't mind to be educated on that myself. And it's probably way easier to say than it is to type. Oh. Yeah. Lori's friend April. Sorry, I got quiet. I'm like waiting to see. Oh. Stuttering doesn't bother me. You take your time. What was I gonna say? Oh, the right one. Her friend April was saying that, yeah, whatever, like she had always been, as long as she'd known her, and even people that known her pretty much her whole life that were interviewed that have been friends with her for decades, said she was always, you know, very active in her church community. But what she had, you know, in the last couple of years gotten herself into was not even remotely close to the core principles of the LDS and Mormon faith. That's what I understand. Yes. Jinx, BB girl. Well, Carlene, if you are more than welcome to come on and talk, you like. You're also, if you'd like to just type it out, you got our attention now. You to tag people if you are in if you are on your mobile, if you are on a mobile device, if you put the @ sign in front of it and then their username behind it, it will highlight it in red. Did that come up red for you, BB girl? If you are in YouTube chat, there will be, if you hover over their name, you should be able to, you hover over their name, you should be able to click it and be able to tag them in your thing, in your, tag them in your posts. There we go. There you go. Now it won't show up red for you. It will show up red for the person you tagged, if that helps. Yep. That's funny. Now, when I think of like FLDS, I think of people like Warren Jeffs and, you know, getting into that sort of out that direction of things. Man, now we're all like hanging on Carlene's every word. Yes. Yes, very much anti-government, anti-establishment. Oh yeah, well, Warren Jeffs is he's a strange bird. And Warren Jeffs is a perfect example of how blindly people will lead somebody. This man is in prison for the rest of his life for doing horrible things to little girls, and yet he still has the control of all of those people. He is able to still send, you know, messages from inside prison to the whole, you know, congregation, because people just so much believe in every little thing he says and does. Oh, I bet that was interesting, the bribe run. Warren Jeffs is an FLDS leader who had, when he, didn't he end up with like, I don't know, it was dozens and dozens upon dozens of wives, and some as young as 11 and 12 years old. And eventually, yeah, the Bundy clan, now that thing was crazy. Yeah, BB girl, you just, yeah, that is a, that's a rabbit hole in and of itself. But yeah, Warren Jeffs, he still has the control of all of those people. Yeah, the Bundy clan thing was interesting. Let's see. It's a ripe run to be in the court hearings for all that stuff. I don't know. I would love to be a court reporter, just to, like, for every case ever. Like, I don't know. I like true crime and all of this stuff has obviously, it's something I've always been interested in. But this case, like, if specifically talking about Lori's case and everything surround Lori Daybell and Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, I don't know how many more crimes we can, you know, or alleged crimes we could throw into this mix. I don't get it. Yeah. Yes. Warren Jeffs, he is a sick son of a bitch, that's for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, whenever he took off, here, we'll just show this. Whenever he took off, they found him with all these phones and all of this money and crazy stuff. Yes. All right, there's Warren Jeffs Wiki. Not that but that's a good start anyway. Yes. Yeah, they have not been excommunicated. Okay, Carlene, I do have a question specifically about that. For them to be excommunicated, now forgive me, I do not know all the proper terms. I really don't. So I don't mean to, if this comes off to disrespectful to anybody, I do not mean it that way at all. But for them to be excommunicated, they have to, yeah, like they have to go to a hearing, but it has to be like in their like jurisdiction at like their home. I don't really know what the word is, but they have to go to a specific place. It can't just to be whatever branch. I don't even know. They have to go to a specific location in order to do it, they can't just go to any church or building. Is that correct? Or can you explain that? I'm sorry. I hope that made sense. See, the Rybroon and Carlene knows what's up. Their bishop and stake president. I would. Okay. Let's do this. Let me try to find something here. LDS. Here we go. Okay, hold on. I think I maybe this will help. Maybe not. Okay, give me 1 second. I think I have something that we can kind of look at. Maybe. Oh. Oh, why would anybody hate you, the Rybroon? Not unless you've got Lori Vallow in your back pocket. Nobody's coming after you, I promise. Okay, so let's do this. Oh my gosh, application window. All right, now, all right, for Rybroon and Carlene, I just found this picture. Is this accurate? Okay, so hold on. Okay, because good, and this will help me. So your local, so as far as the ward, you have to be, not you have to be, but when you, as a member, everything that takes place surrounding you, I guess all those records, I guess, are kept at your local congregation, because you're talking about transferring records and whatnot. Yeah, be girl, I'm with you. Like I love learning. I love learning stuff, and this is something I'm not well versed in at all. And I really want to have a better understanding of what the Mormon faith and LDS looks like before we, because I've been working on a lot of stuff about Chad and his writings, and I want to make sure that I keep everything very clear. Yeah, it's confused. Right, Brun. It is confusing. But when it's with anything you're unfamiliar with, of course it's going to be confusing. And it just, Bishop knows you familiar with your family. Sorry, I don't mean to be getting quiet. I'm like, ooh, come on, Carlene. Right, Bruin, you pipe in too. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that attitude, the right, Bruin. I don't think anybody should be. I don't think you should have to introduce yourself and be like, hi, my name is Denise. I went to Catholic school my whole life. I'm not practicing, but does that affect how you and I are going to get along? No, that's not. I, I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your spirit exactly, Kalara. No matter what your spiritual beliefs are, at the end of the day, everybody wants to see JJ and Tylee return safely to family members. That's it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so oh wow. Oh, you guys are making this, and this is very interesting. Thank you guys. Thank you guys to everybody who came and hang out tonight. Talk about, some of the stuff we saw on Dateline, some of the things we, just in general, just the conversation's been good. This is definitely interesting to get some insight into the, into this faith and what it's supposed to look like, and how Lori and Chad are totally misrepresenting that. And, like you just said, making everybody else look bad. It's like, just like we just talked about, like, for example, Warren Jeffs. Well, he is a Mormon. Well, oh my God, they're all polygamous and they all marry 12-year-old girls. No, that's of course not the case. No way. But it just takes one name, one face, and one set of horrible circumstances, and here we are, so. Oh, is it not coming up very well? Here. All right. Well, let's see. Let's keep seeing what we can find. There's tons of them, I'm sure. Oh, I'm not going to know that. Oh. I don't know. Yeah, it might not be just maybe on your screen size. I'm not sure. Stop streaming it back to my buddy's after nighttime party. Oh, exciting. Oh, I'm a total dog person too, so I respect that. Gotta let the dogs do what they gotta do. Kids are in a compound. Yeah, and that's just it. If the kids are either in a compound or a home or with another group of people, that Lori's just put them off onto, or this is all part of the preparing for whatever's going to go down on, July 22nd of 2020, those people, they wouldn't even know. I mean, I can't imagine. I definitely agree that they wouldn't even know that the kids probably don't even know that they're missing. You know what I mean? I agree with that. Okay, so yeah, here, let's try this. Let's see. Whoa. Does that help at all? Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is just a picture I found. I just found quickly online because as Carlene was explaining some stuff to us, I was trying to get a visual of what the different names and the things she was saying. I wanted to, for myself to follow along, and more importantly for you, so we could all kind of learn something together here. Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah, to get it spread in Mexico, I think Mexico and Canada are probably, I mean, everywhere at this point. It's, I don't know. And, you know, we keep going back to Lori stating they'll never be found, or she's telling that via text or something, where she had made the statement, they'll never be found. Well, what does it, you know, like, they'll never be found? Is that like, it's frustrating. This woman is frustrating. Oh my gosh. So my allergy medicine. Sorry, I just took it again. My poor nose. I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here. Okay. Oh, Amber. That's a damn good question. Where is Chad on this train? Okay. Yes. Answer. Okay, so Amber, I'm not I am not answering. This is not, the LDS faith is not something I'm extremely familiar with. We have Carlene in the chat and the Right Bruin who have been answering, you know, providing us a lot of information. So he would be at the bottom. Now, and that would lead into this question. Are you promoted? Are you promoted, not like randomly, but are you just, are you promoted to the next tier, or is there like a voting process, or do you have like things you have to complete in order to move up the line, or how does that work? I tell you, Carlene, I'm just going to have to get you on here. Your poor little finger's going to be tired of typing. Awesome, Kayla. That's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for joining, Amber. Amber, did you watch Dateline tonight? Gotcha. Oh, Amber, I think Chad's more of like, you know, square peg, round hole kind of guy. I think he left this. I think he left this system out the door a long while ago. In order to be considered, it's based upon what those above feel inspired the Lord is calling that person to that position. So, Amber, it should be on Dateline's website. Let's see. here's their thing. Hopefully. Nice. Okay. So basically you kind of it's basically you have the option. You have to earn these things by, you know, being a decent human being and being active and doing all those things, but you also have to gain this trust and respect of those around you in order for the community or the congregation, in a sense, to say, yes, we're comfortable with this person being, you know, promoted or called. Is that the right word? I don't know. So really, even though all these names are not something I'm familiar with, at the end of the day, it is just be a decent human being. And if you want to be an active, you know, be a decent human being. If you're going to be active in the church, that's great. And if that's something you want to do, these are your options, you know, before you, basically. Wow. No. Well, then that's, I mean, not to sound, I'm sure it's not that simple, but when you, somebody that's like, for myself, somebody that's not familiar with this face, to look at these names and go, oh my God, like, I don't know what any of this means. But if at the end of the day, it just basically says, yeah, you know, and that not one person is less likely or more likely than the other than their own actions, which I like that just as a whole for any community, religious based or not, your own actions are going to decide your destiny, not, you know, not anything else. All right. Whew. Oh my goodness, guys, we've been talking. Well, I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Holy smokes. My gosh. Whew. You look at all that, really extremely similar. It's all volunteer. Right. Interesting. Well, and anything revolving, anything, in my opinion, and I don't know what this will incite, but in my opinion, anything that revolves around church or a faith-based activity should be volunteer. You should not have to pay to participate in any, you know, in your not average, but in a regular service or a regular, you know, activity. So like I talked about Scientology earlier and how much they have to pay to play, basically. Like, that is ridiculous. And so, you know, in my opinion, I feel like anything that's faith-based should be volunteered. You know, if you want to participate, by all means, we would love to have you. But not, we would love to have you and write us a check. That's ridiculous. Oh, I think VB Girl's asking about Chad and Lori. I don't know that they've come up with a name yet that I've heard. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so what's that guy's name from About? He made some statements about them and supporting them, and oh, he's a weird. I've not seen anybody that's topped Julie Rowe yet, though. That one is for sure. That broad is a piece of work. She is a, yes, that's it. She's a lot to take in. Now on Dateline tonight, they were talking about how, and I had read, and I'd even put this in a couple of my videos, how Chad said he heard voices and had visions about he needed to move his family to Rexburg. And apparently they elaborated a little bit on that tonight. And he said that Chad was telling people that Rexburg was like the chosen place, like a promised land of sorts. So they really did not talk at all about Chad's writings. I've been kind of going and, oh man, I don't know. Julie needs to get a good case of laryngitis for like a couple of years. Holy smokes, that woman. They did not talk about Chad's books or anything. They did say that, he's written 25 books and that they're faith-based and, how some are this, some are that. And, he's got a couple of children's books and he's got an autobiography and then there's fiction books. And then they kind of broke it all down, all while alluding to the fact that some of them are a little different. And, again, there's nothing wrong with being a fiction writer. There's nothing wrong with being a faith-based writer. But when you take your fiction writings and base your, use that as like, your own personal Bible in a sense, that's scary. And when other people are doing the same thing, people like Lori, who are taking them literally and wanting to, make them come to life. I don't know. I've not read his books. I've gone through and some people have posted certain portions or excerpts, and I've gone through like Amazon and like downloaded the free sampler or whatever to just kind of see and like reading different things. But I'm really curious. I want to read more about because he used his 5 children as characters in his books. I really want to get a better understanding of what his children's roles are. And exactly, Girlie McJ, that's what I talked about earlier, that I really think that he's well on his way to being the next LRH. Like, he really is becoming L. Ron Hubbard. And we talked about that at the beginning of the stream, that I really just think that he's just, whew. But I'd really like to know the role that he sees his children playing, as D-Day is approaching here in the next 6 months. Yeah, anything, anybody that I've seen that's done any sort of reporting on his writings are like, whoa, and it would, nobody would bat an eye if it was just being, they were being used for the purpose of just being fictional stories, but they're not. And that's where it's getting scary. $144,000 people. That's also the same number of people that Jehovah's Witnesses believe will only make it through to the next stage. Oh yeah, I don't want to give them the money either, VB girl. Absolutely not. She did, Amber, and she did that. Charles bought that Jeep for her in Texas, and then she was allowed to drive it back from Texas back to Arizona. So that was actually like a big deal from her. I don't know, Grilly Majay. I wish we could pinpoint exactly, because if we look around, we can see, like the faith-based fiction writing. There's a science, we're pulling from Scientology. And then I know the 144,000, that's also the same number from Jehovah's Witnesses and, going into Heaven's Gate. Like if you can, and it's not because I don't think he's seeking inspiration. It's because we've seen this stuff happen before. We've seen how these things end, and nobody sees it when they're beginning, because at the beginning they're all sweet and like normal people, and then poof, next thing you know, everybody's yelling, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," 40 years later. So I don't know. It's I have no idea. Okay. That's funny. I just watched an interview with police chief in the area where Terry and Chad live. BB girl, Doomsday is specifically July 22nd of 2020. Mark your calendar. Chad's kids, there's 5 of them. From what I understand, some of them are living in the property that Chad and Tammy lived at, the house that we saw where they conducted the search warrant after they exhumed Tammy's body. Some of them are living there. Now, from what I understand, Lori never lived there. Chad lived with Lori at her townhome, in her townhouse next door to Alex Cox. Oh, good gravy. Personally, BB girl, on July 23rd is my grandson's 5th birthday, so I'm busy that day. I don't know what everybody else will be doing. I don't know what Lori will be doing. But I imagine she'll be licking her wounds and trying to come up with some excuse as to why it didn't happen, and that her and Chad had these revelations that this is why, and whatever. Like there's Chad. If you go to Chad's website, I think it, hold on, let me show you this. Chad is talking about on his website that one post, he talks about how he's waiting to complete a book because 2 things had to happen in order for him to be able to complete this book. The presidential election had to go down. Okay, that check. And then he was waiting on the big earthquake that he had predicted was going to hit the western part of the United States. And then he could publish the book. What? So somehow they keep finding these ways to make it like they'll find a way to make it like it was supposed to happen this way. Like Tammy Daybell, like he told Julie Rowe he had visions of her passing away, and then when she didn't pass away right away, it was like, oh my gosh, her mortality has been extended. Okay, whatever. I don't get it. I don't think the papers she was holding in front of her stomach, Amber, were the court documents that she was served with that day, that she had in the car. Yep. Oh, Sean, I think she's indulging, and well, I'm sure she did watch it, but she didn't watch it in the sense to be like, oh my God, what are they saying about me? She was watching it and her and Chad are probably, so excited that their word, whatever their mission is getting out there to the world now. The Dateline was doing them a favor. That's just my inclination, but yeah, I'm sure she didn't miss it. Oh, yeah, who knows? Oh, absolutely. She wants to know. And see, she wants to know what info they have and who's talking out against them or about them. And so I worry for people like April or Annie, and I don't want threats or anything weird. I mean, at the end of the day, Alex is gone, so like her hitman of sorts is gone, but that doesn't mean that they don't have other means of things to do. I don't know, considering the track record, I don't know. I'd hate to see anybody else be put in danger for speaking out against her. And I feel like that's probably why a lot of people haven't. So the fact that the handful of people did is really kind of impressive. Yeah, exactly, BB girl. Yeah, whether he was somebody else poisoned him or he did it himself, I don't know. But I mean, I'm all for coincidences. Lots of things happen in this world that are unexplained. I get it, and I'm all for it. But there's no coincidence that the day after Tammy is exhumed that Alex is deceased. That's not a coincidence. I'm sorry. It'll be a cold day in hell before you can come. No. It's funny you say that, Sean, because I keep seeing people call Chad a victim, and I don't know that he's not. I think they're both equally culpable in everything that's gone on. Yeah, I saw where he said that, and I also saw some other things. I don't think they're. I think that they drugs are probably. Who knows? I mean, hell, at this rate, who the hell knows? I wouldn't even be shocked. There's not much more that could happen in this case that would absolutely shock me, because it's like you're just waiting for something more insane than the last thing to happen, really, with this case, and that's sad. Yeah, I think a lot of people are curious about that, Carlene. Now, the medical examiner did say he passed away of a heart attack. He was cremated because Lori never claimed his body. Lori never informed anyone that he had passed away. Like, her behavior after the fact, like, she just didn't give. It was just kind of like a prelude to what was going to happen when Charles passed away, how she treated his family and his other children. Yeah. Yeah, speculation. Exactly, VB girl. And that's what her lawyer says. That was her original statement back in December. The statement from the lawyer said she's willing to comment on all of these accusations once it's moved past, what do you say, rumor and speculation. Well, wouldn't it stand to reason that if you wanted to knock down on the rumor and speculation, that you would go ahead and give some answers, provide some information, not just sit back and be like, oh, well, the logic is unbelievable to me. I don't get it. Oh yeah, she said horrible things to about Joe. She's just horrible. She's a horrible woman. I mean, she's just heartless. And I mean, again, I've said it before. You want to be pissed off at your spouse, your husband, whatever, you do that, but you don't take it out on your kids. And then, I mean, at least fake it a little bit when people pass away. At least try to fake it. No, she doesn't even go. She doesn't care. Hey Sean, we have where are they? We have Carlene and we have where'd he go? The Ripe Ruin that were giving us a lot of information about the Mormon faith. So if you have questions specifically about that, then it would be the ones to ask. I'm hoping to be more informed specifically on their faith. But yes, Joe is Colby and Tylee's dad, and that was Lori's third husband, and he passed away on April 3rd of 2018. Okay. Throw that one there. Kayla, I don't think that $75,000 that Lori got was for Lori. I think that was for Tylee and Colby. That was not to go specifically, solely to Lori for her to do with whatever she chose. But Lord knows where that money went. I'm sure that Colby or Tylee didn't benefit from those funds at all. Well, Amber, let's see. So she was exhumed on December 11th, and the search warrant was executed at the Daybell's property on January 3rd, I believe. So within a few weeks, they had enough probable cause to go ahead and conduct that search warrant, which means to me that indicates that there was something found, something located that really raised some eyebrows. Now, the problem with toxicology, once you've been buried or once you've been embalmed, is that your body is drained of all of its fluids. So it takes a little bit longer to do all the tissue samples and all of that, specific testing. And it's going to hinder the investigation even further with testing for any sort of substance or chemicals is that they don't know what to test for. So they have to test for everything. So that just extends it. But the fact that they were able to get enough probable cause for a judge to sign off on a search warrant indicates to me that there was something was found. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate that very much. I don't know. This case, I randomly came across this case in mid-December, and I guess as it was just, one of the random headlines that popped up, and it caught my attention, and I read one article, and then I read another article, and then it was like 4 hours later, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And here we are 2 months later, and I still can't, like, this case has gained my attention. And when I don't know, I really appreciate you saying that, because I'm all for speculating, and I will do that. But if I feel like if I'm going to share information about a case, I don't want to, spread a bunch of chaos, because chaos is not going to, help anything. We need to try to spread some awareness and facts and get to the bottom of things. Now, but I will speculate, and I'll make it clear when I do, and like talking here with you guys, and we'll do it all night if you want. But let's see. And, Sean, and that's a good point. But on the flip side of that, and I forget it a lot too, is that by the time that it was discovered, the kids had not been seen. The kids had not already been seen for 2 months. So even though this case seems kind of like new, like these kids haven't been seen for almost 5 months now. And it's like, whoa, that's hard to wrap your head around. And like, I mean, poor Faye, that sweet little girl at 6 years old. And I don't know that I ever want to know the details, but they did say today that his name was Cody, the male deceased person they found, he was a neighbor, and they'd actually been inside his home when they were searching for Faye. They spoke to him and been inside his home. So that's insane. And then like Gannon, he's 11, and even with his wackadoo stepmom, goes quickly too, but people knew right away. Unfortunately for JJ and Tylee, the person specifically that you would think would make those, alarming phone calls to authorities to be like, where are my kids? I can't find my kids. The person who is supposed to do that is the one who is totally trying to stay away from it. Absolutely, Amber. I think I'd like to start coming back live regularly. I recently kind of came back from a YouTube hiatus. I had a lot of stuff go down personally. And so it was kind of like time to just take a step back. And then, and we used to go live quite a bit. And so now having the passion I do for this case and the interest and like talking to you guys and like learning what I did tonight, learning from you guys about, the Mormon, hierarchy, or however you want to word it, like learning things from you guys and things that you guys have seen and things, everybody contributes something to this case. So to be able to get out there and have conversation, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I try to respond to every comment in the comments section below all my videos and stuff, but this brings a totally different perspective to everything. And I really appreciate you guys being here very, very much. Now, see, Carlene, going along with what you're saying, as frustrated as I am, is that we're not seeing the face of the authorities. We're not seeing the authorities stand up there, shoulder to shoulder, and, the whole alphabet soup of authorities, and saying, yes, we are, working collectively to, locate JJ and Tylee, and we're, X, Y, and Z. As much as we're not seeing that, what they are doing is using the media to their advantage. Although, and hopefully now with Dateline, but prior to Dateline, there wasn't that much media coverage on this case at all in the, large scheme of things. More people know about, Gannon Stop and than they did know about this case prior to tonight. And I'm not saying that in a negative way for Gannon's story. Absolutely. We need to bring Gannon home just as much as we need to bring home Tylee and JJ. What I'm saying is that the media, if law enforcement, if authorities were using the media to get the word out, then that kind of backfired because the media this story didn't have a lot of media speed. It did with a few certain outlets, but other than that, as a whole, no. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. I've said it before, like to watch Larry and Kay walk in front of all this media and all these cameras and just speak from their heart with, and I'm sure on the inside they're losing it. And I know that Larry has opted not to participate in some things because he's been too upset, but to do it with such composure, I don't even want to think about how I would be, but I admire their bravery and their ability to get up there and just, be the face, be the voice for the kids. I think that's incredible because I'm not sure I would have to be put in a padded room if something ever happened to my kids or grandkids. There's no way. Yes, Kayla, I agree. And that's why every video I always talk about, any opportunity to share information about this case, anything you see, make some noise because putting pressure on law enforcement is awesome. But if you watch Dateline or if you haven't yet, towards the end, when the Dateline cameras catch up with Lori and Chad, the level of uneasy, and you could just see how uncomfortable she is. It is amazing. And she needs to be that uncomfortable all of the time. Not, I just feel like we just have to make noise. And if the, mainstream media won't do it, then social media will be here to pick up the slack. That's for sure. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I would love for them to be so uncomfortable they can't put their head down at night on a pillow, but I just don't think that's the case. I don't think she's not uncomfortable in the fact of, oh my God, like she's uncomfortable, like you're impeding on my beach time and I have plans today. Like she's not like, and wherever we got to start, let's just go. Let's just keep it coming. I mean, and by that, okay, total disclaimer, need to make this very clear. By all means, that does not mean go bully and be obnoxious and make threats and do the things that people have been known to do from the internet. That is not what I'm condoning. What I am condoning is making everyone aware of the fact that her children are missing and she is not cooperating with that. So then anybody that she comes into contact with knows the shady kind of person she is. Oh no, I'm not knocking catch a charge. Oh no, I agree, the Ripe Room, they're doing everything they can. I just wish as a citizen looking at law enforcement, I wish they would communicate directly with the public, at least every now and again. I'm not asking, for a daily brief. No, absolutely not. What I would like to see is I'd like to put some faces to some of these names that we see on their social media posts. And yes, I get that social media is the way that a lot of things travel, but in any other case that's being investigated for a variety of reasons, you can always look at law enforcement. You can see them. They will hold some sort of press conference on a small scale, large scale, whatever, but at least say something. I don't know. And that's what makes it frustrating. If they could just come out and just feed me a line of crap, it's like just totally, just say something. I just think that little bit of reassurance would be spectacular. That's my opinion. Right. Oh, Amber, we had somebody in here. Who was it? Wanda said that she's on that island out there, but she had to take off. I was hoping she could tell us a little bit more information about being on there. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Carlene. I see that, but maybe just so much a statement as to, yes, we're still working on this. And you know what? Now, after Dateline, post Dateline, maybe early next week, we might see something like that because there will be a lot more pressure on law enforcement. Maybe. And I do not want them to do anything that impedes in their investigation. No. Absolutely not. I don't want them to do that. But I would just like for them to maybe put some minds at ease that says, yes, we're still working on this. There are still things in motion. We're still investigating. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Yep. Awesome. Fabulous. I don't know that local is inept. I think that local is overwhelmed. Even by, Nate Eaton's own account, both I followed him on social media for a couple months now. And, even what he spoke about tonight on Dateline is that they don't even have a murder in their town. They don't have any, big crime go down. So for them to have something like this, they're probably like, whoa, like this is, way out of their pay range, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm just saying like they're just probably extremely overwhelmed. Exactly. That's my point, the right bruancy. I agree. Oh, there's Wanda Lee. I told you. Amber was just asking, I don't know. Amber just said something about people in Hawaii, how they're responding to her. Yes, VB girl. And that's just it. I'm trying to think. The first article I would have seen would have been about the kids missing. And then very quickly, so you're thinking, oh my goodness, these two kids are missing, these siblings are gone, like what's going on? And then by the end of the article, I was like, wait a minute, I need to read that one again. And then, like I said, 4 hours later, I was like, okay, we got to get to the bottom of this. Exactly, BB girl, but they're in, they weren't even in Idaho for a month at that point. So Tylee clearly had not likely connected with anybody or made any real relationships, friends or whatnot. The neighbor at the townhome said that JJ did play with his kids, and then one day JJ was just gone. So those kids didn't really have roots there at all. So for the new people in town and then the kids to be, nobody knows their routine anyway. So to not really see kids around, it probably didn't raise red flags for anybody. It's my understanding, Sean, that they're telling fellow members of that church that it's just a custody battle that's gotten out of hand, and just these big lines. Tylee's phone was found in Hawaii. Man, I would love to get hold of cell phone records. I would like to see Alex Cox's cell phone records and all of his locations. Unfortunately, Sean, no, we do not have an exact date as the last time Tylee was physically seen. I imagine that, Tylee's phone would have been seized during that search warrant. When the search warrant, they would have gotten it when the search warrant was executed in Hawaii. The right, Bruin, I agree with you 10,000%. And a lot of people fault Kay and Larry for that, and I don't agree with that at all. Kay and Larry, like I said earlier, Tylee is their niece. They never had a close relationship with her. They spent time with her during visit when Charles and the family would come to Louisiana or when they would go to Arizona, but they never really spent time with Tylee. They had regular communication with JJ via FaceTime. That's their grandson. They were in contact with him all of the time. So people are faulting them for the lack of focus on Tylee, and it's not on them. As a whole, JJ is 10 years younger than her. He does have some special needs that do require, medication first and foremost, in addition to other support things. So it makes his situation seem more dire. And I think in turn that makes Tylee's situation seem less important, even though that's not the case. But I feel like that's the way it's being portrayed. Yes, that was in Arizona, Kayla. There are the same neighbor that talked about his children playing with JJ at the townhome in Idaho. He did report seeing Tylee. So we know Tylee did make it to Idaho. Oh yes, absolutely. The same day that the search warrant was executed on their car and their car was seized, there was a search warrant executed on that condo. Yeah, I think Joe Ryan's sister Ann, that's coming forward here she's come forward in the last week, and she did appear on tonight's episode of Dateline. She's making it. She's trying to really shed light and information and insight into information on Tylee, and she is working closely with Larry and Kay, so they're working together, and I don't fault them. I mean, just I have a brother. I was closest to my mom's parents, and my brother was closer to my dad's parents. And that wasn't because I liked them any less or they liked me any less or vice versa. That was just the way our relationship was formed. So even though yeah, they are related to Tylee. That's their niece. They love her, but the dynamic of that relationship was not the same as it is for JJ. So I hate to see when they get bashed for only speaking about JJ. That's who their relationship was with. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Carlene, they even talked about that tonight on Dateline. Annie talked about that, and Lori's friend April talked about how protective and such a good big sister that Tylee was, that she was really engaged with him. And even though, there was this huge age gap between them, that didn't stop their bond. So. VB girl, that's a good question. That is something that I have written down in one of my on one of my many pages of notes here that I wrote down a couple times. Are we to assume they're together, or could they have been separated? That's a very good question. Unfortunately, we don't know at this point. You'd like to think that they're together because, well, you just want to think they're together. No, I think Chad's had contact with them, Amber. That's my opinion. I know he's had contact with the members from Avow. I'm pretty sure he's got contact with Julie Rowe. Yeah, Amber, I do agree that it does seem odd. Like, I'm not really sure the context of that story. I know that Charles bought her the Jeep, which was awesome. Got it in Texas, so she could drive it back to Arizona. Now, was that part of like everybody's driving back to Arizona so you can ride in your own car and we'll be right behind you, or did they just give her a gas card and a bag of chips and like, see you at home, deuces? I mean, it doesn't, what I mean? There's it doesn't really say. Yeah, I think that Chad's kids, my opinion, all speculation, they are Team Chad. Whatever Chad does, they are supportive of that because I believe that they believe that he is some sort of something special. So BB girl, the last time that there were physically eyes on JJ was on September 23rd of 2019, and that was at his school in Rexburg. They saw him at school on that day. Lori withdrew him from school on the 24th, but officials do not recall seeing him on that day. Now, September 24th would have been Tylee's 17th birthday, and there's been no reports come out yet as to anybody having contact with her on her birthday. Typically it's a, hey, happy birthday, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Nobody said anything about, trying to contact her on that day. So, but now we know her phone was in Lori's possession in Hawaii, just a couple of weeks ago. So Lori's had it this whole time, but when would have been the last time that Tylee would have had access to it? That's a whole nother thing. But as far as the last day Tylee was seen, we do not have a firm date on that. Nobody knows. Nobody can pinpoint that. They left Arizona for Idaho on August 31st. JJ was withdrawn from school on September 23rd, so just 3 weeks later. So within 3 weeks' time, JJ started school, withdrawn from school, and then, went off the grid. And so somewhere in that 3-week time period, Tylee also went off the grid. Yeah, Tylee's birthday is September 24th. Yeah. Trying to think. No, everybody. So Lori, Melanie, Tylee, JJ, and Alex left. Alex drove Melanie to Idaho on August 31st is when they left Arizona. That's when they moved from Arizona to make the, permanent change to Idaho. So that was at the end of August. Then, just a few weeks later was September 23rd is the last day that JJ was seen, but we don't know when the last time that Tylee was seen. Now, neighbors in a townhome complex do report seeing Tylee, so we know she did make it to Idaho, but we do not know the last time that she was seen by anybody at all. I don't know, Davester. I kind of think that maybe she was just getting the here's the thing. I think she was getting the notifications. I mean, if you have kids in school, you know that somebody sneezes too loud in class, they're going to send you a message about it. But then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe she wasn't just, she was just opening to get the, like basically to clear the notification off her phone. But then I started wondering if she was looking to see if any of those messages were talking about her and talking about JJ and what could be going on with his case and alerting family and asking for information from people at school. That's another thing I've considered. Yep, you got it right there, BB girl. That's right. I have watched the storage video closely. the saddest part of that entire video is seeing all of those kids' mementos just, and I don't mean the bikes and stuff. I mean, the bikes are just stuff, but like the pictures and all of those things, that's just, oh. And I'm a picture fanatic. I've probably saved every piece of artwork my kids have ever done. My oldest son is 24 years old, and I have stuff from when he was in preschool, and I'm not mad about it. I could not imagine just discarding that and walking away from it. But did they walk away from it, or did they run away from it? Because I think they ran away from it, because the last time anybody visited there was 2 days before the welfare check. So they really didn't have an opportunity to go back. The saddest part for me is knowing that Colby finally got his voice. He was finally, putting himself out there, trying to speak to his mother and plead with her to do something that would let people know where the kids are. And then he was blindsided with his own things in that storage locker, just left for the garbage man. Like, that just breaks my heart. That hurts my heart. Well, Carlene, the way they made it look tonight, Keith Morrison him and Nate Eaton just opened the locker, and they were looking, Keith Morrison is looking at these photo albums, so the stuff is there. It's not been, discarded. I just wish, I don't know. It's not, I wish that like Annie or Kay and Larry or somebody would get that stuff. And I don't know now if it can't be released to somebody else besides Lori or what the deal is, but I don't know. Man. Let's see. My opinion. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to go back through your comments here. My opinion of Lori's friends. Her friend April really had a lot of interesting things to say. I would love to see all the B-roll footage of all the stuff that they took out of tonight's episode. That's the stuff I want to see. Not that I didn't enjoy what we did see, don't get me wrong, but I really would like to see the uncut interview with April, because she had a lot of stuff to say. Now, Chad had a couple friends pop on there, but they were on there for just a few seconds. And all they really talked about was the missionary work he did. I think it was from 87 to 89. He did missionary work in northern New Jersey. That's what they talked about. Let's see. Just trying to read through. Yeah. BB girl, I couldn't even. There's one interview where Kay Woodcock was like, you know, we're in the middle of this. We're on the inside, and every time something happens, we're just like, unbelievable. Can you believe this? I can't believe this is real. And she's like, and not only is it real, but it's happening to our family. And she's like, we have to explain this to people in our family. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't even wrap my head around any of it at all. I mean, if they have enough probable cause to prove that there is enough probable cause to determine that a crime has occurred in order to get a warrant, I mean, in order to charge them, yeah, but the evidence has to be there. I mean, authorities can't go to a judge and be like, yeah, we're pretty sure they did something. Let us just slap some cuffs on them. No, they have to really break it down exactly what they believe happened and go from there. So I'm hoping I'm hoping we are, while we're here wondering what they're doing, they're actually gathering evidence that will get us going in the right direction. Yeah, but the time, no. Just based on time, no. But the good thing about murder is there is no statute of limitations. So, you know, if they determine that, you know, a crime was committed, that crime specifically, that door is always open. You know what's interesting, Carlene, is I think that's probably a good possibility that Chad, if anybody's going to be charged with anything substantial, it's going to be Chad first. Because Lori, even though her hands are dirty, her hands aren't, there's not blood on her hands. All the blood is on Alex's hands. Now, Chad would have been the one in the house with his wife. Just saying. Alex married a woman named Zulema, who we learned earlier tonight. What was it? She is a I don't know, master of the art of touch or some I don't know. Hold on, let me find it again. I'll tell you exactly what it said. Zulema. Yes. Alex's wife, Zulema, advertises herself on a website as a cuddling professional and touch expert. That's what we know about it. Thank you, BB girl. Oh, I can't even. Yeah. Now, according to Annie, Joe Ryan's sister, she's done a lot of research on this for obviously. And her background is in data analysis, so she is like research is her thing. She determined that Zulema is part of the community, I guess that Chad is building, and then that's how Alex met her. Now the sudden urge to get married, because consider this, Alex is one that fled with him from Idaho. So the cops came knocking on the 26th of November looking for the kids. They come back on the 27th to get more information to serve the search warrant, and everybody's gone, including Alex. But then Alex gets married 2 days later in Vegas. What's that about? That I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if there's a money thing there or what. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we'll probably have, as frustrating as it's going to be, we're probably going to have a better understanding of everything that was in Alex's system as opposed to what was in Tammy's. And that's simply because she had already been embalmed, meaning that all the fluids had already been drained from her body, as opposed to Alex, who was fully intact when the investigation started. I don't know. I mean, I could get it with being, you know, like I said, lack of a better term, her hitman and doing all of the dirty work for her. But with Alex gone, now what? Now who? I mean, and was there some sort of something where Alex had to do it to himself? Did I have no idea. Nobody knows, Amber. That information has not been shared. Yeah, they're saying up to a year on Tammy's, and like I said, that's what I was just saying. We're gonna get we're gonna get a more comprehensive picture on Alex, and we're gonna get it quicker than we do Tammy, because they're gonna have to work a lot harder to get information from Tammy's autopsy and tox results. But the one good thing to consider, that even though we're going to have to wait a hot minute to get any sort of firm answer, the fact that within 3 weeks they had enough probable cause to obtain and serve a search warrant on the Daybell property is a sign that they found something. That's my opinion. At this point, Sean, it wouldn't shock me. Like I said, there's nothing about this case. Yeah, that was when they were extremely younger, I believe. And she went into diabetic shock. She went into I can't remember the exact details, but there are reports that, you know, while she was being put into a body bag, he was out using her credit card. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. But given what we know about Alex's track record now, it doesn't sound that far-fetched. Yeah, Amber, if he was in fact poisoned, if you're gonna take your own life, that's not the way to do it. That wouldn't be, whatever. You wouldn't think, especially if it was someone who, by his own admission, loves firearms, has has the ability, carries them. If he were going to take his own life, that would have been a better option than poisoning yourself or ingesting something that was going to, maybe not work. Yeah, Sean, I've heard a few people say that about spousal privileges. It's an interesting it's an interesting theory. We'll just have to see. Yeah, just the whole timing of literally within 24 hours of Tammy Daybell being exhumed, Alex Cox is pronounced dead. Like you can't. I mean, the best true crime writers in the world, Stephen King couldn't write this stuff. And this is, truth is always stranger than fiction, but this one just takes it up a notch. That is for sure. Man, I would love to know where Melanie is. See, Melanie's got to be watching her P's and Q's, though, because she's got court coming up. I think it's the first week of March. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look. I'll let you guys know for sure. I'm going to do something specifically only on her and Brandon's ordeals now that more audio has come out about that crazy mess. So she's really got to be keeping herself in check. But I would really love to know where she's at. Ian is, I don't know. Her and the new hubby are still in their honeymoon phase, I guess, as well. But the fact that she's not with Lori is interesting to me because for a while they were, inseparable. Yes. Yes. Lori and Chad were married November 5th. Alex and Zulema were married on the 29th of November, and Melanie and Ian were married on November 30th, and both Alex and Melanie got married in Vegas, back-to-back days. So, yeah, but to go from, to pack up all of your belongings, flee Idaho, and then be like, oh, yeah, well, we got everything packed up. Let's just, stop off in Vegas and get hitched. Like, what the heck? Like, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm glorious. It's yes, exactly. Yeah, Ian was divorced in July of last year. And so if I remember correctly, if I remember going back to the timeline I did, in June is when Melanie came home and was like, I need a divorce. I'm done with this. So at the time she was requesting a divorce, her now new husband was just finishing up his. I don't know, VB girl. It sounds to me like this dating pool that they're plucking out of, it's got desperation written all over it. So I'm going to guess you probably don't want to go shopping down that aisle. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Amber, Lori and Chad were married in Hawaii on November 5th. fair to assume. Yeah. Exactly. All right. That's my premeditation. Yeah. Sure could, because I mean, premeditation wouldn't be hard to establish here, in my opinion. I do have a friend that is a lawyer. He is in Texas. I mean, he's actually in Austin, Texas, and I've been talking to him about the Heidi Broussard case and asking him a bunch of questions. I've kind of been putting some questions together for him in regards to this case. Because I'd like to know, like, as far as premeditation, and then like how that would be, how that could really work in something like this, or damn, I just lost the premeditation, and also the crap, I just lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me in a second. Damn it, I hate when that happens. Oh, I know what I was going to say. How they would go in and classify a lot of this stuff. How I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I don't have my book of questions. That one's still upstairs, actually. How they would get around them using religious beliefs for certain things. Not meaning murder, but some of their other bizarre activity. How that would come into play. So I just have some questions. When I break all them down for him and what he gets back to me, I'll definitely share with you guys. So yes, I did see the information that's now come out with the Joe Ryan case and the custody stuff. I found it the interesting one part of those documents that I found really interesting is when she had to be evaluated, basically get her head checked. And they were making all these notes talking about how, she came in and she looked this way. She was well put together and she was this and she was that. And she spoke very eloquently and, gave her all these compliments. But by the very last sentence was like, yeah, she's nuts. We can't trust her. Of course they didn't word it that way, but it was just like they saw right through what, they weren't buying what she was selling. So. Shit. Holy crap. Okay. Oh yeah, she won't be able to do insanity at all. But I know my lawyer's friend name is Travis. We had done work. We had done a bunch of research and stuff together on another case. For many of you probably don't know. If you've ever watched the documentary Making a Murderer, the Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey case. I'm a very big advocate for those cases, and I've done a lot of work with talked to Travis quite a bit about aspects of their case and how certain things have worked. And there was a certain portion of that where religion came into play for certain people involved. And I just kind of have some questions to him. She'll never be able to claim insanity, but I do have questions about what sort of wackadoo defense she can come up with using religion as the backdrop to that. Huh? Yep. Ask away about Stephen and Brennan. Oh, me too, Sean. Yep. July 22nd, 2020. Mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen, because absolutely nothing will happen. You know, if we go back over Charles' divorce papers, I know who Laura I can't even speak. I know who Laura Nyrider is. Yes, and that's her last name. We go through Charles's divorce filing, and he's talking about how that one organization he had her set up with to be evaluated, and then eventually it was determined that they could, if she were ever stopped by police, she could be held on the 72-hour psych hold. I really want more information as to why did she have to be stopped by police? Could they not, get her? I mean, I know at the time that she was MIA or whatever, but they made it sound like it was just going to be this huge undertaking to get this woman and take her to be held for 72 hours. I don't know. Yes, I love her too. You know, Amber, that's a damn good question. Why they can't enact a psych hold now? I don't know who would have to file that. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Sean. I've been talking for almost 3.5 hours. It is almost 1:30 in the morning where I am, so I'm going to be wrapping it up here in a few minutes. I really appreciate that you came by, Sean. We'll definitely do it again, and we'll definitely make this live thing a more regular thing moving forward, so we can discuss things about the case. And tonight being the first one, and especially after Dateline, just having an open discussion, no real topic, just go wherever the conversation leads us. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me, everybody. It was awesome. Yeah. I would love, it would have to be somebody that is directly connected to her and that could actually make a statement about, things she's saying and doing. And not just one of us saying, all right, this woman's clearly off her rocker. No, it has to be somebody directly connected to her that has firsthand accounts of things that she's doing. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, it is 1:30 in the morning where I am, and I literally could talk about this for hours. Clearly, we've been here for almost 3.5. Thank you to everybody who's contributed to the conversation tonight. Thank you to everybody who taught us something, educated. I appreciate everything that was discussed. Thank you guys for listening to me, tuning in. I do know your guys' time is valuable, and that you chose to spend your time with me means a ton. So you guys have the best night ever. We will definitely do this again soon. And so look for that. I'm working on some stuff about Chad and about Melanie. So look for a new video sometime up over the weekend. And then in that video, I'll talk about when we'll plan weekly discussions for this case on a live forum. So you guys have a great night. If you haven't already, give me a big thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.